to talk about Odell Beckham Jr., of course, the top free agent out there. It was a offer that he deemed low that the Rams made, and that is kind of what we are waiting on because it doesn't seem like any other team has jumped in there.
Something is a-brewing in Kansas City. I mean, it's something that could absolutely break the NFL. No, I'm not giving you a biased take because of a Patrick Mahomes jersey on my back wall, because we actually have evidence from players on the Kansas City Chiefs, including Travis Kelce via his podcast, that straight up are telling us that they are pursuing a specific type of individual. So before we get to the content, we do cash giveaways to any subscriber that turns on our notifications on this channel. $100 given away every single week. All you have to do to enter is hit that bell. Now that we get all that out of the way, break! Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? So a couple of days ago, the Kansas City Chiefs made a very small roster transaction, and it's not necessarily anything significant. It's done all the time, but the fact that this is the Kansas City Chiefs and they need significant help in one particular department ever since trading Tyreek Hill to the Miami Dolphins, which shout out to Tyreek. He's having a record-breaking season, or is on pace for a record-breaking season. The Kansas City Chiefs are speculated to make a decision that could absolutely shock the entire NFL. So they restructured Travis Kelce's contract, which essentially turns some of his salary cap money into a bonus currently. He gets paid right away, and in return, the Chiefs get some salary cap space so they could pursue a free agent, a trade, etc., etc. So this is leading some individuals to believe that there are a few people that they might want to target. So originally, one of the first thoughts that were had is, hey, you know, the Carolina Panthers said that they are listening to other teams about a potential trade for Christian McCaffrey, although a deal might not be easy to complete. Now, the issue here is apparently the Panthers want multiple first-round picks for Christian McCaffrey, and nothing against Christian McCaffrey. He is one of the best halfbacks that we've seen over the past half decade, and for the most part, you might not realize this because he's been in the NFL since 2017, but he's only 26 years old. He still has a lot of good football left, and I feel like especially if you're rotating him with like Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Isaiah Pacheco, then it might open up the Kansas City Chiefs offense even more. I mean, when's the last time the Chiefs had a dominant running back in the backfield with Patrick Mahomes? Probably Kareem Hunt, and ever since then they've been trying to fill the void that he left, but they've been doing just fine, just based upon the greatness of Andy Reid, Travis Kelce, and Patrick Mahomes. Now, at the same time, it's important to note that it's not like the Kansas City Chiefs are a running back away from contending in the Super Bowl. If they were to get a running back, it would be one of those situations where you add a running back, it's an additional weapon to the team. It's not necessarily something you need at this moment, and it's something that could even be addressed in the offseason. It's not like if you don't get a running back right now, you're not going to be a Super Bowl contender. As a matter of fact, if you look at the free agency class for running backs this year, one of these players are bound to find themselves in Kansas City. I mean, take a look. You have Saquon Barkley, Damian Harris, Kareem Hunt, Josh Jacobs, David Montgomery, Miles Sanders, Tony Pollard, Devin Singletary, Jamal Williams, Rashad Penny, Alexander Madison, Raheem Mostert, and Jeff Wilson, all hitting free agency. Now, obviously, some of those players are more versatile than others, but for the most part, it's safe to assume that the Chiefs might not be interested in giving up a first-round pick or multiple first-round picks, which is apparently what the Carolina Panthers want, to get Christian McCaffrey in return. I can imagine a deal being done for like a second or a third, but not necessarily a first. And after freeing up some cap space, the cap hit that Christian McCaffrey would have on the Kansas City Chiefs is only about $1 million. But I don't think that's what they're going for. Our source for this is none other than Travis Kelce and Jason Kelce via their New Heights podcast, which is a fantastic source of information because check this out. Travis Kelce explains what he thinks the Kansas City Chiefs are doing behind the scenes to potentially improve the team.
All right, we got some news out today. You had a little contract negotiated.
Yes, I did.
Can you put us in behind the scenes with that a little bit? What happened?
I'm not sure yet. It's a start to a move, right?
You think so?
You're freeing up cap space to be able to do something. Yeah, my agent just hit me up and said that they want to free up some cap space. So I was like, I get the money now? All right.
Why not? Seems like a no-brainer.
And it frees up cap space for us to get better as a team.
So you cannot verify or debunk the rumors out there surrounding OBJ?
Odell Beckham Jr.?
That's the OBJ I'm referring to.
I want them to come true. I have not heard anything in the locker room or anything around the facility.
All right, playing a little coy with it. I get it.
Something's in the air for sure. And if it means OBJ...
Well, we can neither confirm nor deny, but we will speculate and look forward to seeing OBJ in a Chiefs uniform.
Odell Beckham Jr., the biggest mystery in the NFL currently. You see, Von Miller thinks that OBJ, his former teammate from last year, is going to the Buffalo Bills to team up with himself and Josh Allen. But here's the thing, man. With respect to the Buffalo Bills super team, you don't really need Odell Beckham Jr. I mean, what are you going to do if you have Odell Beckham Jr.? It's going to be like, what, wide receiver 3 behind Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis? I don't think he is willing to take a lesser role to once again potentially chase a championship. He's already got a Super Bowl, even though he didn't really play in that Super Bowl as much as I would have liked him to. He's already got the hardware, and I feel like that part of him is gratified. That's not to say that I don't think he's competing for a Super Bowl, but I feel like he'd want to be a bigger part of an offense, and I think that's why I would rule out the Buffalo Bills, or be shocked if he goes to the Buffalo Bills and team up with Von Miller, Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, and Gabriel Davis. What I think is more likely is what a lot of people are speculating currently, and that's the fact that Odell Beckham Jr. might be headed to the Kansas City Chiefs. Currently, the Chiefs don't have a true wide receiver 1. You might be thinking it's Juju Smith-Schuster, but Juju Smith-Schuster just recorded his first receiving touchdown for the Chiefs this past weekend. Originally, I thought Mecole Hardman may have a chance because he possesses at least similar speed to Tyreek Hill, but we were quick to discover that Tyreek Hill is more than just a fast wide receiver. He possesses multiple traits that make him a phenomenal football player and why he gets paid top dollar. We were thinking maybe it'd be Sky Moore or Marquez Valdez-Scantling, because at the end of the day, the Chiefs were looking for a speed demon out there to replace Tyreek Hill's production. And it's not like the Chiefs are struggling currently, because the only losses they have is to their biggest rival, a Super Bowl contender, and a team that without a doubt was circling their matchup all season long in the Buffalo Bills, and a strange loss to the Indianapolis Colts, which, yeah, I don't know how that happened. So if there is one way that you can make life easier for Patrick Mahomes, and a way that you could have your cake and eat it too, in the sense that you didn't want to pay Tyreek Hill crazy wide receiver money, you didn't want to pay him a Devontae Adams-like contract, because that makes a lot of sense. That handicaps the Kansas City Chiefs moving into the future. How do you address that need? Well, at first, you take a shot and throw a dartboard at the NFL draft. Maybe you sign that high upside prospect that unfortunately was derailed by injuries during his collegiate career at Clemson, and maybe he ends up panning out for you guys. Unfortunately, that didn't happen either. Maybe you go ahead and sign a man that would have tremendous chemistry in making TikToks with your brother. Well, that's kind of working so far. It's still the early part of the season, but none of them even scratch the trajectory or the tier of wide receiver that Odell Beckham Jr. is. And just what he brings on the field aside, he's a fantastic guy to have in the locker room. So we have multiple reports on this. Some people that you might be unfamiliar with, but some people that you'll probably be more familiar with. Let's start with the unfamiliar individuals. This is coming from a man by the name of Matt Veradame. He's a national NFL reporter at Fansided, and this is what he says. My understanding regarding Odell Beckham Jr. is that there are a litany of teams worth watching, including the Rams, Chiefs, Bills, Ravens, and Packers. Long story short, OBJ will have no lack of options before signing. I'm told that the Chiefs are monitoring the situation with OBJ, but nothing is imminent. Expectation is that Beckham won't sign till after the trade deadline, wherever that ends up being.
But Mike, Odell Beckham Jr. wanted a Michael Gallup-like deal. He's not going to get that from the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, maybe not this year, but he could sign to a smaller contract for the duration of the season, and over the offseason, they could revisit those types of conversations, because you have to understand that the Kansas City Chiefs were going to offer Tyreek Hill a contract that was a little bit over than what Michael Gallup got from the Dallas Cowboys. So signing Odell Beckham Jr. to such a contract is definitely feasible for the Chiefs, and it's a situation that makes way too much sense. The Chiefs are a consistent contender so long as Patrick Mahomes is under center and Andy Reid is on the sidelines. Odell Beckham Jr. doesn't get paid a super contract, but he gets paid a decent chunk of change and is on a consistent contender from now until probably he starts to fall off as a wide receiver. It makes way too much sense for it not to happen. When you compare the Chiefs to these other teams, like the Buffalo Bills, for example, which we've already ruled out, with all due respect, the Baltimore Ravens aren't necessarily a team that a wide receiver goes to if they want to be a focal point of an offense, because it's a Greg Roman offense. So unless if Odell Beckham Jr. wants to live through what Randy Moss lived through during his final seasons with the San Francisco 49ers, that's not a good destination for him. You have the Green Bay Packers, who are currently going through a difficult time, who have a great defense and are really struggling offensively in terms of wide receivers. Then you have the Chiefs, and then of course the Los Angeles Rams. With respect to the Los Angeles Rams, clearly they're regressing a little bit, and this was bound to happen eventually. It's nothing against the Rams at all whatsoever. It's just after years of trading your draft capital for bona fide stars and then maxing out those players, the LA Rams don't really have much salary cap space to work with. On top of that, it seems like they're already comfortable with their wide receiver room of Cooper Kupp, Allen Robinson, and Ben Skowronek.
Did I say his name right? Skowronek. Yeah, Skowronek.
So adding Odell Beckham Jr. in the middle of the season, I mean, yeah, there's familiarity there, and maybe he feels grateful for the fact that they won him a Super Bowl. But if you ask me, out of all of these teams that I would like to make my home for the future, considering how Patrick Mahomes is only 27 years old, if there's a team that I'm signing a long-term contract with that has a clear future barring some unforeseen injury, it's going to be the Chiefs. So let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think about all this? Do you think the Kansas City Chiefs are really about to break the NFL? I'd like to hear what you have to say. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.